Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino-American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton. We have Bridget Cotero Carino. All these are coming up and more afterward from our sponsors. Please stay with us. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Thursday again came to the defense of the national budget amid moves to declare the 2025 spending plan unconstitutional. In a speech before a national convention of Filipino lawyers in Cebu, Marcos Jr. said that his meticulous review of the General Appropriations Act yielded no signs of supposed blank items.
Just last month, I had to read 4,057 pages of the General Appropriations Act for 2025. Because I reviewed it, analyzed it, and yes, in parts, vetoed it. And so for those of you, and up to now, I cannot find those damned blank items. We'll keep looking, but I really am convinced that they simply do not exist because it is not allowed to exist. So for those of you who think the presidency is just handshakes, photo ops, I assure you that fine print is alive in my office as well.
The president's remarks come days after his former executive secretary, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, and Davao Representative Isidro Ungab petitioned the Supreme Court to nullify the national budget following the discovery of supposed blank items in the budget's BICAM report. The president, however, says the move is only part of efforts to destabilize the government. He also expressed confidence that the government's case stands on solid ground.
Well, I've read some of the filing, the complaint. Well, the Solzhen, of course, will be the ones who will argue for the government, and he tells me, Solzhen Maynard tells me that we are on a solid footing in terms of constitutionality. I don't know why they bothered to file that because napakahirap ng kanilang assertion. It clearly doesn't... well, anyway, it's not for me to make the argument. We'll let the Soldier make the argument before the Supreme Court, and we're very confident that our case is strong.
The president says there is no contingency plan should the Supreme Court decide in favor of the petition.
No, we shut down everything. I guess that's what they want. They want the government to cease working. So yung matuloy yung kanilang mga destabilization na ginagawa.
In an interview, Attorney Vic Rodriguez denied that the filing of the petition is a tactic to restore the over 1 billion peso budget cut in the office of Vice President Sara Duterte.
Sino ba nagko-control ng release ng budget? Hindi ba DBM? Halimbawa, nag-reenacted budget, di wag nyo i-release just to prove to you and to those clowns in Congress na wala kaming pakialam sa budget ng Office of the Vice President. At tanggap na ni Vice President Inday Sara yun. Huwag tayong lumihis sa malaking usapin. 6.325 trillion pesos na budget for 2025, binubudol tayo.
He says they also plan to file cases against those responsible for filling up the blank items in the BICAM report.
Hindi pa natin mapapanagot yung mga naglalagay ng halaga dyan sa blanco. Bakit? Sapagkat patungo pa lang kami ron. At kami naghahanda ng sulat diyan sa Secretary ng House of Representatives at saka dyan sa sekretaryo ng Senado na ibigay sa amin yung pangalan ng mga empleyado na bumubuo ng technical working group o technical working staff. Nang sa ganun ay makita natin kung sino talaga ang dapat nating panagutin in violation of Article 170 of the Revised Penal Code, falsification.
House Committee on Appropriations Acting Chairperson Stella Kimbo earlier said that while there are indeed blank items in the BICAM report, this does not prove allegations of irregularities in the budget, saying that all appropriations had already been determined and approved when members of the BICAM committee signed it.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Time has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very interesting, exciting, intelligent, whatever visionary person in high-tech business or industry. And help me welcome Mr. Elad Inbar. Mr. Inbar, welcome to our show. And he is the founder and CEO, and of course he is a visionary, CEO of Robot Lab, right?
Yes,
That's the
Robot
name,
Lab.
Robot Lab. Okay, now my goodness, this is going to be a very interesting topic, talking about robots and
AI, yeah.
AI. Wow.
Yeah.
This is something that I want to talk about and listen to, but I don't know much about. Maybe we can learn from Mr.
Yeah.
Idbar today. So he is also the writer of the book, believe it or not, Robotics Future. How can it be more exciting than that?
Yes.
Our robotics future. I can't wait to listen to you, Mr. Inbar. Welcome to our show, the Chicago Philippine Reports TV. And please introduce yourself further. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate you having me over here. Yeah, I mean, not talking about myself, talking about my passion, which is robotics and AI. What we are doing is at Robot Lab is basically helping business owners automate tasks that people don't want to do anymore. Everything from delivery to cooking to cleaning to security and so on. We have very, very significant labor shortages in every industry that you can think of. People just don't want to do entry-level jobs anymore. No one wants to push a vacuum cleaner in a hotel corridor for 8 hours a day. No one wants to bust the dirty dishes in a restaurant. No one wants to move boxes in warehouses. But business owners still need to do all of these things. And what we offer them is to do that by using robotics, by using AI, and all of that. And to your point, Veronica, from earlier, when I'm working with business owners, what I discover is that a lot of people just don't know what's available. Where are we going with that? How does it work? How can I even evaluate a robot for my business, right? How do I approach that? And this is essentially why, me and the team here sat together and we created the book, Our Robotics Future. This is basically a guide for business owners that are looking for automation, that are looking for this efficiency in their businesses, and they just don't know how to get started. So the book takes the reader through all these steps and basically help them learn and educate themselves about what's available, what's coming, how to approach that, how to evaluate efficiency, and eventually, join this amazing and exciting, trend that is happening.
Okay, about your book, what audience really are you addressing this book to?
So the main target is for business owners, decision makers, industry leaders, policymakers, everyone that need to or want to educate themselves about where robots can help businesses in every aspect of, from solving labor shortages to business efficiency and so on. That's the main target. It's designed to help business owners basically learn about this market and this innovation that is happening, and it's happening at very, very fast pace right now.
So, what would be our readers? The readers, well, we have a built-in audience, I'm sure, about the topic, right? So, what do the ordinary or regular readers can gain from this book?
Yeah. So the main thing is, this industry, the robotics, the AI industry, is moving at like a million miles per hour, moving so fast. I don't know if you're using Cprtv, if you're using all this kind of AI to create everything from marketing materials to whatnot, and a lot of people feel that they are left behind. This is moving too fast for them to comprehend. And I can tell you, doing this for so many years, the past couple of years, the past 2-3 years, where we've seen more innovation coming in, more throughput and more products than anywhere in the history, not just in the past decade or anywhere in the history. This is something that is moving very, very fast. So, if someone wants to learn wants to immerse themselves in this type of technology and this type of knowledge, the book will actually take them through that and help them gain that knowledge so they can, basically know what we know as of now, at least, right? Because the industries keep advancing, and basically be able to have how to call it, elaborated or smart decision about moving forward with this type of technologies.
Do you have some kind of robotics narratives that you want to share with us? Give us a couple.
Yes, there are several areas that are very, interesting when it comes to where we are going. And a lot of people, and when you say narrative, a lot of people are always asking us, well, aren't robots taking jobs, right? What's going to happen to all the people that, the robots are replacing? And this is something that is constantly, coming up. And I have to say that robots are actually not replacing jobs. Robots are stepping in and filling the gap where people don't want to do these jobs in the first place. So we are helping where it comes to cleaning, when it comes to delivery, when it comes to cooking, when it comes to many, many other things that commercial and business people need to execute in order to run their business. So this is something that is very, very important. There is this notion of robots taking jobs, but they're actually not taking jobs. On the other side, we have a lot of people that are, looking at that and say, yeah, I mean, I've seen robots all my life, and they never mature. Where is the Jetsons, right? We all, watch the Jetsons, and Rosie, that was, if you are familiar with the TV show, Rosie that, cook and clean and do all of that, from the 60s, right? Where is, Rosie from the Jetsons? For 60 years, I'm waiting for that. And it's easy to be kind of like a dismissive. Like, yeah, it's never going to happen, not in my life at least. But I can say, being in the front seat of that industry, it's happening way faster than what even I believed. And just to give you an idea, I was under the impression that humanoid robots, okay, robots that look like human, that can, work in our homes and, help us fold the laundry, wash the dishes, do everything that we want to do, are probably, 10 to 15 years, away from where we are today. This was my assumption until literally a year ago. Last year, I changed that, and I believe that we are in around 2 to 3 years away from having a robot, a humanoid robot, that will be in our house. It will cost $1,000 per month, okay? And we'll be able to do everything that we want to do. And just to give you the context, we have a bet here in the company. I said that in 5 years, we'll have a robot plumber. Okay, so a plumber that will be able to fix your sink, take care of your dishwasher spills and whatnot, whatever you need. I say by the end of this decade, which is in 5 years, we will have a robot plumber you can just call and take care of everything. It's hard to understand the pace because we are used to linear growth, right? A baby, learn how to crawl and then learn how to stand and then learn how to, make, a couple of steps and then walk and run and jump and so on, right? We understand linear growth. We don't have intuition about exponential growth. And this is something that we see today. Robots are evolving in exponential pace, and we got to that curve that it's actually going vertical. And this is something that is very, very powerful, because if you understand that, you embrace that, you are part of that, trend, right? You're on the train, and the train is taking you faster to other places. And if you just like look at the train and say, yeah, it's not going to go anywhere, the train will go away, and you stay behind. So this is kind of like what my mission is, to bring this knowledge, to bring this excitement about these technologies to everyone.
All right, very good. Okay, one last question as we're running out of time. Mr. Inbar, do you have some robots working in your office or in your house?
Absolutely.
I'm just curious.
Our office here is like Disneyland for robots. We have over 50 different robot types on our portfolio. You can go to robotlab.com and check it out. We have 30 locations nationwide. We actually have a location in Chicago, where our team has all these robots and providing these robots to business owners. So we live and breathe and dream robots every single day. I have robots, at my home. My kids are here after school, playing, working with robots. So yeah, for me, this is the present. It's not like a futuristic, thing. We cook lunches here in a cooking robot. We, use robots to clean, to deliver. When our DoorDash arrives, they have a robot that takes it to each team member throughout the office. So yeah, I mean, this is here. This is real. It's happening today. And you can check our website to see all of that, robotlab.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you're such a very interesting person to talk to.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Or a subject or a topic that it's out of my boundaries. And I find it very exciting talking to Mr. Elad Inbar. All right. Thank you for gracing our show today. And more good luck, and let's set up another interview as a follow-up to what you're doing in high tech.
Absolutely.
That's specifically about robots.
Absolutely.
AI. I love it. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat. At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye now.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, we have a very interesting young person. When I say young, he's really very young. Filipino-American, and this guy, although he's young, he has been I mean, I've watched him in this little community of ours, and he is a very successful, multi-awarded realtor in our community. Very popular. His name is Jason Chavez. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hi, Tita
Welcome
V.
to
Glad
our
to be
show.
here. Thanks for the nice introduction, but
Okay. Yeah, that is true though. I've watched you since I met you at the party one time. And my God, by golly, talagang ano talaga, impressive. Impressive this Mr. Jason Chavez. And he is really a very successful realtor in our community. And I invited him today. Well, first thing first, please introduce yourself and what you're doing about your company and everything. He is a realtor from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
mhm,
Stark Real Estate. Okay,
yes.
introduce
So, hi everyone, mga kabayan, kumusta po? I'm Jason Chavez, licensed realtor, real estate broker, with Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate, in Palatine. And I used to be the operations manager for ARIA, Greater Chicago, which stands for Asian American Real Estate Association of America. But I had to step down because we have daddy responsibility. So we do have now an 18-month year old baby girl, and now I'm focusing on helping our Filipino. Sorry, I just got a phone call, but I'm busy right now. But anyway, I'm working on for home buyers, home sellers, investors, and even renters. But I focus primarily on home ownership to assist and guide and educate our kababayans here in Illinois. So there's Filipino Americans, there's first-time home buyers or repeat buyers, and even home sellers. They need to be educated in terms of not just about the real estate, not just about the process, but as well as about the U.S. Economics, right? Because there's so many factors that affect the real estate market, and that's very crucial for people to understand because this is their hard-earned money. This is their hard-earned money, and um they deserve to be educated, to be informed, and not just to guide them and tell them about how to buy a property, how to sell their property. And that's what I'm here for. And I have a background in industrial engineering. When I was in the Philippines, I was an industrial engineer, and then I studied software engineering here as well at Northeastern Illinois University. So yun po. Thank you for listening.
How long have you been in real estate? How long have you been doing it?
So I got my license back in 2018, but I started doing the business during COVID. And I remember my first client actually got COVID. When I was showing him home, we were wearing N95 mask, and we're like distance apart from each other. So I will open the door first, get the kid, open the door for him, and I will go back in my car and call him like, "Hey, the door is open. You can go ahead and check the property." So that's how it started. I was like,
How you
a lot
got
of
started?
yes, a lot of Filipinos are asking for help, in terms of buying a property. But I was like, you know what? This is my calling to help these people out, get their property, get their dream house.
Wow, COVID time. You you took advantage of that critical time, and you really became successful with what you're doing. And you are an immigrant from the Philippines, right? Young
That
immigrant.
that is correct po. Yes.
And you started, officially started in 2022. And you have been successful with what you're doing. Amazing, amazing, really. And Jason, um, you still look young. You look like you're 18 years old. I'm telling you. Oh, and okay. So, all right. I invited you here today to talk about your business. I'm sure that you really love what you're doing. And I watch you. We are Facebook friends, and I watch you succeed by getting so many awards, and I mean, so selling, really selling a lot of properties. And okay, so for this year, 2025, we're here in January 2025. Okay. Jason, can you please tell us what is, for the sake of our viewing audience, what is the outlook of the real estate market here in Chicago? I mean, not only in Chicago, in Illinois.
In Illinois, yes po, tita. So with regards to the current market, right? I don't mean to scare you, okay? But we are in a very crucial stage because in 4 days from now we will have a new administration, right? The Trump administration will take the office, and those things, those policies that the FOMC have already planned all the way to 2026 now needs to be changed because those were set up with with the current administration, the Biden administration, but now another administration is taking over, so they have to restructure their plan. Okay, so the first thing that we have to understand is we are in debt crisis. Our nation, as the U.S., okay, if you will go to fiscal data.treasury.gov, we owe $36.17 trillion as a country. Can you believe that? $36.17 trillion. And the main reason why is that is because our administration, the government, has been spending twice as what we are making. So the spending of the nation is $1.79 trillion. Okay. However, we only make as a country 1.08 trillion dollars. So we have a deficit of 200 we have a deficit of $711 billion as a nation accumulatively. Okay, this is historically, not just for this year, for last year. So what this means to us as home buyers, home sellers in real estate, right? So it simply means that the new administration that will be taking over has to implement strict policies to collect more money, to have more tax revenues, okay, to combat the deficit, to lessen the unnecessary spending of the country. And one of the things that the new administration is going to impose is that the tax policies or the tariff policy. So the upcoming president has already told the public, right, that he's going to charge 10% tariff to Canada, to Chinese goods, and up to 25% tariff on import products from Mexico and Canada. So if Trump is going to tax that, I mean, I know what he's doing. He's doing that to collect more tax revenue for the nation, right? To pay off our debts. We're talking about $36 trillion here, right? So it's going to take time to pay it off. So Trump has to do that. However, it's going to cost the consumers for high inflation. The inflation will reaccelerate. Right now, we're at 3.4% inflation down to 3.2% CPI index. But that inflation is still higher than the Fed's goal, which is 2%. So we're still above there. So to make it short and simple, right? The new administration's policies will reaccelerate inflation by imposing taxes and tariffs on our basic goods, right? Because these countries like Mexico, Canada, and China, they hold pretty much a lot of volume of our household products, our daily products, from food, from basic commodities. So if the government will impose tariffs and taxes to this nations, to these products, the distributor, the manufacturer, all of these big guys, right, in the industry, they will pass it on to the end consumer, which is us. And guess what? The prices of everything, basic goods and commodities, will go up, and that will correlate to the housing market. So what's going to the housing market is, if everything goes up, right, the labor, materials to cost a house, everything's going to go up. There will be inflation, and the interest rate will not come down. The interest rate right now, if you go to mortgage.com, Mortgage News Daily, it ended at 7.07% for conventional 30-year fix. If you go to CNBC, it's at 7.11%. So do you think the government will lower the rate down if we have a high inflation, if the inflation will go back? No, because we don't want to encounter the same problem that we've had during COVID. Because during COVID, when I started doing real estate, rates were so low because people were afraid to spend money. So in order to motivate the consumers, the government lowered the Fed fund rate down to almost 0%. That also affected the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. So a lot of buyers bought property and refinanced their homes to those home sellers during that time. That actually moved the prices of homes to go up. I had clients who were buying homes with $10,000 to $15,000 more than the asking, because they want to catch the lower interest rate, right, which is around 2.5 to 3%. So in Illinois, alone, there's a good and bad, right? If you are a homeowner, okay, your properties have gone up by, see here in the data, so by 5.4% increase. So in 2024, the median home price for the entire Illinois is now $295,000 year over year. However, the housing inventory remains low. It's basic law of supply and demand. If there's so much inventory, so much supply, and the demand is low, right, then that's the only time that the price will go down. But if there's low inventory, why there's low inventory? Because a lot of homeowners, they want to hold their property because they have lower interest rate, because they refinanced during 2020. Why would they sell their house just in order for them to get a smaller house and pay the same thing? So they will keep their properties and they will not sell it, right? That's why most houses nowadays in the market are the ones that are either divorce properties or estate sale, right? Like, it's really rare to see someone who wanted to sell their house just to get a new house. So in a different perspective, with the new administration taking over, um, they're gonna lessen some restrictions to the builders across the nation. The top builder that I'm working with, D.R. Horton, they are building so many homes across the U.S. and they're giving away up to up to $10,000 closing cost incentives, and you can find it with a regular mortgage banker, and they can give you as low as 4.99% for 30-year fix. So the thing is, a lot of people are still afraid to get into get into real estate, in today's market in 2025 because of the high interest rates. But here's what I'll tell you: high interest rates, right, 7% or 6%, they're not going to be there forever. It's a cycle. The government has to keep up and reduce the interest rate because they are also paying, okay, interest rates or interest on the government's debt. We have debt. So if you have a debt and you have high interest, you gotta do something to lower that interest, right? And the 30-year fixed mortgage correlates to the 10-year treasury yield. So if the come to think of this, right? If someone owes a lot of money because that person, say for example, that person makes $10,000 a month and he spends $20,000 a month. So he's going to go bankrupt at the end of the day. So what he's doing is, in order for him to pay off the debt, is borrowing money from someone. So he's selling bonds. The country is selling bonds. The problem is, if no one will buy bonds from the U.S., the government, okay, will raise the interest rate to encourage this buyers. Could be China, could be Europe, right? This outside countries, or even private investors, so they can attract people to buy bonds. So if they do so, they will increase the interest rate, and it's going to be a dangerous cycle for the economy. But nothing is permanent, right? The only thing that I tell people is why it's still always a good thing to buy a house is because real estate property values is always on an upward trend. If you miss the boat, if you miss the train, for example, for a $300,000 condo, right? Then you will never see that $300,000 condo again because there's no way but up. The real estate market in the entire history from 1940s to 2025 where it was already down for like 6 times, like only 6 years. Imagine that. That's from 2000, let's say 2025 minus 1941, we're talking about 85 years, right? But the market was only down in just 6 years. So right now, I have a lot of clients that I'm working with. Most of them are thinking of buying, but I tell them, like what you always hear from realtors and mortgage officers, right? Marry the rate, marry the house, and date the rate, because once you miss the price of the house, it's never gonna go back. Because the only way that the market will crash is if there's more supply, meaning more houses for sale. And one of the things that could trigger that is if people can't afford to pay their mortgage, then they're going to go foreclosure, and that's the time that we will have oversupply. But as long as people have jobs, right? People are making money, people are paying off people are have the capability to pay their mortgage, then there's going to be no crash. You will just keep on. There's always a cost of waiting. Every time you wait, you're losing the opportunity to buy a house for a cheaper price, because that house that you've been looking on the internet, right? That was listed for $400,000 before. It's now $450,000 now. So yeah, did that.
Know that. I'm aware of that. So, you mentioned all these facts that's supposedly to be in the offing. Because this week is the inauguration of President Trump, and we are welcoming him as our new president. And it sounds to me that um, as far as the real estate, um, facts are concerned, it looks like it's kind of dim, dark and dim for the consumers, for the buyers and sellers. So, well, do you think that government policy will really be enforced? It's a sort of, how sure are you that it's going to be enforced?
Well, in terms of assurance, right? There's no such thing as 100% assurance and accuracy, because knowing the newly elected president, right? Sometimes he says something in public, but then you know change it once he's there in the position, right? But to me, it's necessary for the government to do that, because that's the only way to combat the deficit, right? Because the administration has spent so much, right? So much money. We don't know where the money went to, right? We don't want to get into that, but the challenge is that the new administration has to do something to lessen the expenses of the government. That's why you probably heard of Elon Musk and Vivek, who will be leading the imaginary government agency called Doge, right? Department of Government Efficiency, because their goal is to kind of audit the IRS, audit this, government bodies, right, to make sure that they're not wasting government funds. But it's necessary for the government to do so that way we can lower expenses and make sure that we are spending the budget wisely, and pay off the deficit and make more taxes revenue based off the tariff and other tax policies that the new administration is going to impose.
Okay, Jason. All right, I got you. Um, what do you think uh, is? I mean, this is another foreboding news about and I know that you're aware of it, about many many people are moving out of the state of Illinois
Mm-hmm.
because the problem number one is property tax in Illinois. one of the highest in the country.
Hmm.
Stable bed.
So yeah, so in terms of that, it really depends from which country. I mean, from which country these people are going to, based on some stats that I've seen before, right? Most people from Illinois, they move to warmer places like Texas or Florida, right? Because they want somewhere warmer. But in terms of property taxes, it really depends on the location. Some areas of Illinois still have lower property taxes. Like right now, the hottest city or town in Illinois in terms of real estate is actually Rockford. Like that's really the hottest right now. The affordability and faster sales are actually going into Rockford, and the median home price in Rockford has actually gone up to $242,000 compared to Chicago, which is $337,000. So in terms of in terms of the taxes, I can argue that California is still worse than Illinois, right? I'm not going to say worse, but we are still better off California and New York in terms of property taxes. That's why a lot of people, personally serve clients who move from California, bought a single family home, new construction home in Elgin with Lennar, because they spent almost $600,000. I forgot the price of the house, but I can pull it up. But it's less than $1 million, right? They told me we can never find a house as big as this, as beautiful as this, as new as this, with less than a million, less than $700,000. With that price, we'll probably be able to buy a smaller house, not so nice house with that price. And taxes are ridiculous, right? So, impo-
Okay. All right. So what can you advise to our, I mean, some people still would like to remain here in the state of Illinois in spite of, okay. And so what can you advise either I mean, if you're in the market, either seller or buyer of real estate here in Illinois, what is the outlook?
so yeah, for the outlook in terms of Illinois, in terms of the housing market, we're not the best state out there, right? Because I'll just look at the U.S. migration data from Redfin, right? So it says there the top 10 areas that people are moving to, okay, is Sacramento, California, Cape Coral. Okay, they're moving to Sacramento, California, Cape Coral, Florida, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Salisbury, Maryland, Portland, Maine, Las Vegas, Nevada, Sarasota, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Nashville, Tennessee, and Hilo, Hawaii. So none of these towns or places are Chicago or Illinois, right? But it says right here on the other hand, top 10 areas people are moving from. We're in the top six. Chicago's in the top six. Top one is LA, California. A lot of people are moving out of LA. New York is the second. Third is San Francisco. Fourth
The
is Seattle. Hmm?
wildfires, LA
Wildfires. Yeah,
yeah.
that's one thing that I would actually mention about, though it's not really related to real estate, but at some point the natural disaster affects the people's preferences, right, in terms of finding a place to go. So I've been talking about this with my wife and with my cousins, because I have cousins in Atlanta, in New Jersey, in North Carolina, and Florida, right, and even California. And we were just joking around. Like I always tell them, like, I think Illinois is the safest state so far, because those states are by the coast are actually always getting hit by natural disasters, natural phenomena like wildfire or probably tsunami, or hurricanes, flood, and we don't have alligator here. The only thing that people are hate about Illinois is the cold weather, and that's it. But you can always double your jacket, right? And that's why you have a car to drive. You have heater in your car, but
Rather face the snowstorms and the blizzards.
well, yeah, but it's not as worse. It's not as worse as before, right? Because for the past couple of years, I think snowstorms were worse. Because now, like, we have a very minimal snow so far, and we're almost halfway January,
I think
right?
I say that too. Yeah, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah,
Count our blessings. Always count our blessings anyway.
right, right. Because
Okay.
if your houses get hit by natural phenomena, you'll have to pay insurance. Your
Yeah.
insurance premium will go up.
All right, Jason. I congratulate you for what you're doing, and I think we're running out of time. One last word. The last quick words.
One
To
last quick
our
word.
kids.
All right, boss. So yeah, knowing that as a nation we are in a very dark, I would say dark debt crisis. It's a turmoil, right? Imagine you live in a country where you think like this is the superpower, right? U.S. is the richest country among around the world, but now that you know that we actually owe 36.17 trillion dollars, and the government keeps on spending money. So, and inflation will always beat your savings. If you have $100,000 savings in your savings account, 2 years down the road, if inflation keeps going up, that $100,000 value is not the same in 2 years. So the best way for you to protect your hard-earned money is to invest it in assets that appreciate. And you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about real estate. Real estate is proven and tested. Not just I'm not don't listen to me, okay? And I know I'm a realtor, so I'm gonna push you to sell your house or buy houses, right? But do your due diligence. Go check out government websites, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The best way to protect your hard-earned money is to always invest in appreciating assets, and it's not just limited to real estate. You can also buy gold, silver, those tangible assets. You could buy an actual gold and keep it to your room, right? But what I'm saying is, don't just save up money and leave them in your bank or put them under your bed or in your chest, because those money will be weakened by the inflation. So you have to find a way to combat the inflation. By far, real estate appreciates for at least 3% to 5% a year. Inflation is inflation by far, right, is around 3.2%. So imagine that if you're saving money, the bank will just give you maybe a fraction of what you put in there in their account, right?
Correct.
Instead of buying a real estate where you have more appreciation. And not just that, because I have a lot of friends who own who own stocks, cryptos. I do cryptos as well. But what I tell them is this: I get it. You have so much money in your stocks account, right? In your Charles Schwab, Merrill Lynch, name them, right? But I don't care, because you don't enjoy them now. When are you going to enjoy it? When you cash it, when you sell your stocks, your shares. If you have a real estate, you get to bring your friends, let them enjoy your beautiful house while you're making money, while you're letting your house appreciates over time. So real estate is the only asset where you can make money through appreciation, right? You have tax benefits as well. At the same time, you get to enjoy it with your family and friends.
Great. Terrific. Beautiful financial advice. Uh, you will be our guru there. One of these days, pagtanda-tanda mo.
Yes, it's always a pleasure, Paul. I'm always here. I'm a giver. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask me. Even if there's no guarantee that you will work with me, I'm okay.
Number,
Well,
telephone number.
my phone number, you can reach me at 312-801-0451. Jason Chavez, your realtor.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. Your Jason has Jasohn.
Correct, Tita V. The only one.
HN. All right. Talagang Pinoy. All right. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Jason. At hanggang sa muli. All
Yes po.
right.
Thanks for having me, guys. God bless you.
All
Thank you
right.
po.
At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Bye.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po!
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Karina Quetcher bringing you this week's local news from our community. The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board announced $6.5 million is available in competitive funding for the Officer Recruitment and Retention Grant. This grant aims to increase the quantity and quality of police officer recruitment programs across the state, while also offering incentives to support officer retention. Units of local government, public institutions, or of higher education, and qualified nonprofit entities may apply for this funding. ILETSB remains committed to supporting law enforcement agencies as they build strong, effective teams, said Keith Calloway, Executive Director of the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. This grant addresses recruitment challenges and invests in retaining experienced officers who are essential to community safety, and we strongly encourage all eligible entities to apply for this funding. President Donald Trump is wasting no time in addressing immigration during his second term, issuing an executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to illegal immigrants. This controversial move reignites a long-standing debate over the interpretation of the 14th Amendment and its implications for immigration policy. While the executive order has sparked intense political and legal discussions, the question remains, can this change be made without congressional approval? For decades, this interpretation has been a cornerstone of U.S. immigration policy. However, critics argue that it has been exploited, leading to so-called birth tourism and incentivizing illegal immigration. Supporters of birthright citizenship maintain that it is a fundamental right and part of America's identity as a nation of immigrants. In his executive order, Trump has directed federal agencies to deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. whose parents are illegal immigrants. Nearly $9 for a dozen organic eggs at a grocery store in Glendale, California, on January 6, 2025. Bird flu, a disrupted supply chain, and other factors have contributed to a sharp increase in egg prices in California. Bird flu is forcing farmers to slaughter millions of chickens a month, pushing U.S. egg prices to more than double their cost in the summer of 2023. And it appears that there may be no relief in sight given the surge in demand as Easter approaches. The average price per dozen nationwide hit $4.15 in December. That's not quite as high as the $4.82 record set 2 years ago. But the Agriculture Department predicts prices are going to soar another 20% this year. Some grocery stores have even limited how many eggs shoppers can buy. Cook County Treasurer Maria Papas and Board President Tony Preckwinkle will honor Chicago's Consular Corps with a traditional Vasilopita celebration. Vasilopita is a Greek New Year's Day cake with a coin hidden inside. It's traditional for each family to have its own Vasilopita, which means St. Basil's bread. A piece is cut for each family member. If the coin is found in your piece, it's believed you'll have good luck for the rest of the year. His Eminence Metropolitan Nathaniel will help celebrate the new year by cutting and distributing the Vasilopita to see who will have especially good fortune in 2025. The 13th District Cook County Commissioner Josina Morita, 11th Ward Alderman Nicole Lee, and 48th Ward Alderman Lenny Mana Hopenworth will host a Lunar New Year celebration to welcome the Year of the Snake at the Cook County Building. the third annual celebration at the county building. The event will include remarks from Mayor Brandon Johnson, Cook County President Tony Preckwinkle, Commissioner Morita, Alderwoman Lee, and Alderwoman Mana Hoppenworth, and will feature lion dancers, music, and lucky red envelopes. Commissioner Morita and Alderwoman Lee made history in 2022 as the first Asian American women to serve in their respective offices, and Alderwoman Mana Hoppenworth became Chicago's first Filipino American City Council member when she was elected in 2023. A recent study by NYU Langone Health reveals that the risk of developing dementia for Americans over 55 is significantly higher than previously estimated, with rates at 35% for men and 48% for women. This study predicts that the number of new dementia cases will rise from around 514,000 in 2020 to about 1 million by 2060 due to an aging population and factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, unhealthy diets, sedentary lifestyles, and poor mental health. Women, seniors, especially those over 75, Black adults, and carriers of the APOE4 gene are at particular risk. The median age for dementia diagnosis is 81 years, and there is currently no cure. Though early detection and lifestyle adjustments such as managing blood pressure and addressing hearing loss can help mitigate risks, Dr. Joseph Koresh emphasizes the importance of greater access to health care and addressing racial inequities. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
It's more fun in the Philippines.